I'm 72 years old, but just last week, something funny happened. I was at the grocery store with my older sister, and this young man looked at me and asked, "Is that your mom?" I laughed and said, "Nope, that's my big sister." He couldn't believe it. Now, I'm no doctor. I'm not a fitness expert or some celebrity with a team of trainers. I'm a grandma. I'm a mom. And I'm someone who, like many of you, was told that after 60, it's all downhill. Aches, wrinkles, memory loss, just part of aging, right? Well, I didn't buy into that. I chose a different path. No fancy creams, no magic pills, just real food, simple choices, and a few powerful habits I stick to every day. It's all in what and how you eat. If you're over 60 and you want to feel sharper, move better, and maybe even turn a few heads at the store like I did, you're in the right place. Stick with me. I'll show you the 5 eating habits that changed my life and might just change yours too. And if any of this speaks to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so we can keep growing younger together. 1. Prioritize a nutritious breakfast. Let me tell you a little story. I was 66 when I first noticed it. My hands would shake slightly in the morning, just enough to make me pause. Pouring a cup of coffee suddenly felt clumsy. Holding my pen steady to write in my journal became frustrating. I remember one morning sitting at the kitchen table, staring at my hands and thinking, is this how it starts? Is this Parkinson's? That fear settled in my chest like a rock. I didn't want to tell my kids yet. I didn't even want to say it out loud. But here's the thing. I've always believed that before we panic, we pause. I took a hard look at my mornings. My breakfast, if I even bothered, was often just toast with jam or a sugary muffin and a cup of coffee. Quick, easy, and honestly empty. And on some days, I'd skip breakfast altogether and just grab something later. Sound familiar? So I decided to make a small change. Nothing drastic. I started with overnight oats. Just a jar of oats soaked in almond milk with chia seeds and a few blueberries. I added some banana slices, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and topped it off with a handful of walnuts. I kept it simple and real. No processed sugar, no box cereal, nothing from a plastic wrapper. Just whole food. Within a week, something changed. I woke up and noticed my hands were steady. I didn't feel lightheaded by 10 a.m. like I used to, and my thoughts were clearer. I wasn't forgetting simple things or losing my train of thought mid-sentence. That little bowl of food made a big difference. Not just in my body, but in my confidence. I no longer feared the worst when my hands moved. I felt back in control. That's the power of a real breakfast. And it's not just my story. There's a reason doctors always say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. For seniors, it's especially true. As we age, our blood sugar levels can dip more easily, leading to dizziness, brain fog, and even falls. A balanced breakfast helps stabilize your energy throughout the day, supports your memory, and gives your body the fuel it needs to function, without relying on caffeine or sugar to get going. You don't need anything fancy or expensive. Just aim for 3 things: fiber, protein, and healthy fats. That could be oats with nuts and fruit, scrambled eggs with spinach and avocado, or even a smoothie with Greek yogurt and berries. Whatever feels right for you, but make it intentional. And please, if you're someone who still reaches for a donut and coffee every morning or skips breakfast because you're not hungry, I invite you to try changing that for just a few days. Notice how your body feels. Notice how your mind responds. For me, breakfast became a kind of ritual. It was more than just food. It was a quiet moment of self-respect, of choosing nourishment over neglect, of telling myself, you're worth the effort this morning. Now, every morning when I sit down with my little bowl of overnight oats and a cup of herbal tea, I feel grounded. I feel ready. And I feel good knowing I'm starting my day by giving something back to my body instead of just rushing through the motions. So if you've ever felt that morning crash, the kind where your head feels cloudy and your limbs feel heavy, I hear you. I've been there, but you don't have to stay there. Start with your breakfast. It's a small act, but one that can change everything. And if this part of the story speaks to you, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment that says, "Energized mornings," and let me know if you've ever felt the same way, or if you're ready to try something different tomorrow morning. You never know. Your turning point might start with a spoonful of oats and a little bit of hope. 2. Embrace healthy fats. Let me take you back to when I was 68. I was still active, or at least I thought I was. But something started to change. Stairs, those used to be easy. I'd run up and down them with groceries, laundry, grandkids' toys, you name it. But now, every step felt like I had sand in my knees. They cracked, they ached, and sometimes I'd hesitate at the bottom of the staircase, just bracing myself for the climb. I blamed it on aging. Well, this is what happens in your late 60s, I told myself. And maybe you thought the same. That creaky joints, stiff fingers, dry skin, and forgetfulness just come with the territory. But then, at a routine checkup, my doctor asked about my diet. I proudly told him I was eating low-fat everything. No butter, no oils, definitely no avocado. I thought I was being healthy. He looked at me and said gently, "You know your body needs fat, especially now." That was my wake-up call. Turns out, all those fat-free choices I was making were starving my body of something it truly needed. Healthy fats, like the ones in olive oil, avocados, nuts, and fatty fish, are essential. They don't just help your brain and skin. They cushion your joints, protect your heart, and actually reduce inflammation. So I made a few simple changes. I started adding a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil to my salads. I sliced up half an avocado with my lunch. I snacked on a small handful of almonds in the afternoon instead of rice cakes. Nothing dramatic, nothing extreme, just real food with real fat. And guess what? About 3 weeks in, I noticed something. The stairs didn't seem quite so mean anymore. My knees still made a little noise, but they didn't hurt. I wasn't limping, I wasn't bracing. I was just walking, like I used to. But it didn't stop there. My skin, especially my elbows and hands, started looking less dry. My thinking felt clearer too. Not that I was foggy before, but there's a difference between just getting through the day and feeling sharp. I hadn't realized how sluggish I'd felt until I didn't anymore. And I know, for years we were told to avoid fat at all costs. That fat was the enemy. That it made us gain weight, clogged our arteries, aged us faster. But the truth is, not all fats are created equal. The right kinds of fats, those found in plants and fish, are incredibly healing, especially as we age. Our brains are nearly 60% fat. Our cells are surrounded by fatty membranes. Our hormones need fat to function. And when we don't get enough, the body starts to show signs: dry skin, achy joints, brittle nails, trouble concentrating. These aren't just coincidences. They're signals. And let me be clear, I'm not saying go deep fry everything or drown your meals in oil. I'm talking about smart fats. Add a drizzle of olive oil to your steamed veggies. Mash some avocado on a whole grain toast. Toss a few walnuts into your oatmeal. Little steps, big difference. Now, I look forward to my avocado every day. I slice it, sprinkle a little sea salt, maybe a squeeze of lemon. It's creamy, satisfying, and it feels like a gift I'm giving my body, one that pays me back in energy, flexibility, and confidence. So, if you've been avoiding fat like I used to, maybe it's time to rethink that. Maybe your body's been asking for something, and you just didn't realize it. Take a week. Add in some healthy fats. See how your joints feel. See if your skin softens. See if your mind feels a little clearer when you're making your grocery list or remembering names. It's not magic, it's nourishment. And if any part of this story feels familiar, if you've been stiff or sore or just unsure about fats, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a quick comment that says healthy fats, happy joints, and share what you're trying or planning to try. You never know, your small change might inspire someone else. Let's stop fearing fat. Let's start embracing the kind that helps us thrive. 3. Include dark green vegetables daily. I'll be honest with you, at 70, I hit a wall. Not emotionally, not mentally, but physically. My body just slowed down. And the worst part? It wasn't the joint pain or the fatigue. It was the constant, uncomfortable feeling in my belly. I was bloated, sluggish, and struggling with constipation more often than I'd like to admit. At first, I thought it was just a part of aging. Maybe you've been there too, trying fiber powders, drinking more water, even blaming stress or medications. But nothing seemed to really fix the problem. It would get better for a day or two, then come right back. One morning, during my regular phone chat with my sister, I mentioned it. She laughed in that I've been there kind of way and said, Are you eating enough greens? Real ones, not just lettuce on a sandwich. Greens? I hadn't really thought about it. I ate vegetables, sure, but it was usually peas from a can or carrots with dinner. Spinach, kale, broccoli. Those had fallen off my plate somewhere along the way. They seemed like health food from another life. But that question stuck with me, so I decided to experiment. Nothing big or overwhelming. I just added a handful of spinach to my scrambled eggs in the morning. The next day, I steamed some broccoli with my lunch. A few days later, I threw some chopped kale into a soup. And then it happened. About a week in, my body responded. I won't get too detailed, but let's just say things moved again. My stomach felt lighter, my bloating eased, and for the first time in months, I felt clean, clear, like my body was finally catching up to my intentions. But it wasn't just digestion. I had more energy in the afternoons. My skin looked a little brighter, my eyes a bit less tired. It was subtle at first, but over time, I began to notice how deeply those greens were helping me feel alive again. What I learned is this: dark green vegetables are not just about eating healthy. They are powerhouses. Spinach, kale, broccoli, collards, they're loaded with fiber, which our digestive systems desperately need as we age. But they also bring antioxidants that fight inflammation, folate for brain health, and even calcium for bones. And here's something no one told me before. Leafy greens are like nature's reset button. They help your body get back on track. Not just physically, but emotionally too. When you feel good inside, everything feels a little easier. Now, I make sure I get my greens every single day. Some mornings it's spinach in my omelet. Some nights it's a side of garlic broccoli. And when I don't feel like cooking, I'll blend kale into a smoothie or just grab a small salad with dinner. You don't have to go full rabbit and eat a mountain of raw greens. Start small. Steam them. Sauté them with a bit of olive oil. Toss them into soup. Even sneak them into casseroles. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. And if you're someone who's been battling sluggish digestion or feeling a little older than your years, I want to gently encourage you. Try it. Just one serving of greens a day. Give it a week or two. Listen to your body. It might surprise you. I used to feel embarrassed talking about digestion, but not anymore. Because I've learned that so many of us, especially over 60, are silently struggling with the same things. And if something as simple as adding greens to your day can bring relief and energy and a sense of lightness, isn't it worth trying? So now, I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite green veggie? Is it baby spinach? Crispy kale chips? Maybe a broccoli dish your grandkids love to? Share it in the comments. Your tip could help someone else take that first step toward feeling better. Together, we can keep learning, keep growing, and keep feeling our best, one leafy bite at a time. 4. Reduce refined sugars. I used to be the kind of person who needed something sweet after every meal. A cookie with lunch, a little cake in the afternoon, ice cream while watching TV. It felt harmless, a reward, a comfort. And honestly, I never questioned it much. After all, I wasn't overdoing it, right? But somewhere in my late 60s, I started noticing things I couldn't ignore. My energy dipped hard in the afternoons. My belly seemed more stubborn than ever, no matter how many walks I took. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw something else. My skin looked tired. Not just older, but dull, almost puffy. The wake-up call came at a family birthday. My daughter leaned in, gave me a hug, and quietly asked, "Mom, have you been sleeping okay?" I had, but clearly, something else was going on. That night, I went home and did what many of us do when we're worried. I started Googling. And what I found shocked me. Refined sugars, the kind in cookies, pastries, sodas, even in things like ketchup or white bread, weren't just empty calories. They were aging me, from inside out. Sugar causes inflammation, messes with your hormones, leads to wrinkles, belly fat, and can even fog up your memory. I couldn't unsee it. So I made a decision. Not to go extreme, not to give up all joy, but to slowly cut back. The first step? I stopped buying cookies for the house. That alone was tough. I'd reach for the cupboard and realize they were gone. My hands felt empty. My mouth missed the sweetness. But instead of going cold turkey, I swapped things out. I bought fresh fruits, blueberries, strawberries, apples. I kept a small bowl on the table, so they were always visible. I discovered the magic of dried figs and dates. Chewy, naturally sweet, and so satisfying. And when I really craved something deeper, I allowed myself a square of dark chocolate, 85% cocoa. Just one square. I let it melt slowly on my tongue. It became a ritual I actually looked forward to. Within 2 weeks, something shifted. I had fewer crashes. My mood steadied. And one day, standing in line at the grocery store, the woman behind me said, "You have such glowing skin. What moisturizer do you use?" I smiled. "Mostly blueberries," I said, and she laughed. But it wasn't a joke. Cutting refined sugar helped my skin bounce back. It wasn't perfect, but it looked more alive. My eyes were less puffy in the mornings. I felt less bloated. My clothes fit better. Not because I was dieting, but because my body wasn't constantly inflamed anymore. Now don't get me wrong, I still love sweetness. I'm not living on celery sticks. But the sweetness I reach for now comes from nature, not a factory. Fruit, cinnamon in my coffee, roasted sweet potatoes. They all satisfy my cravings without wrecking my health. The biggest lesson I've learned? You don't have to suffer to feel better. You just have to make better swaps. Once you stop feeding the sugar monster, your taste buds will adjust. Fruit will start tasting sweeter. Your cravings will quiet down. You'll feel more in control. And it's not just about your waistline or your skin. Excess sugar has been linked to memory loss, joint pain, poor sleep, even depression. It's like inviting a quiet storm into your body every day. But when you reduce it, even just a little, you give your body a break. You give a chance to heal. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 3 days, try cutting out the refined stuff. No pastries, no soda, no sugary snacks. Instead, eat a fresh peach. Have a handful of grapes. Sprinkle cinnamon on your oatmeal. Let your body feel the difference. And if you're already cutting back or thinking about it, I'd love to know, what's your favorite natural sweet treat? Leave a comment and let's share ideas. Because you're not alone on this journey. We're in this together, learning to treat our bodies with a little more kindness, one sweet step at a time. If you've been wondering why your energy is low, your skin feels tired, or you just don't feel like yourself, look at the sugar. That one shift changed more for me than any cream, pill, or workout ever did. So here's to sweetness, the kind that comes from within and from the good things we choose to put on our plate. 5. Stay hydrated. Let me tell you something that might sound a little silly, but it was a big wake-up call for me. I was at the grocery store just walking down the cereal aisle like any normal day. And then, out of nowhere, the lights above me started to feel too bright, my ears buzzed, and everything tilted just slightly. I had to grab the cart to steady myself. A kind woman nearby asked if I was okay, and I nodded, embarrassed, but inside I was scared. That dizzy spell? It wasn't from skipping a meal or standing too long. It was dehydration. See, I used to think I drank enough water. I'd have coffee in the morning, maybe some tea with lunch, and a glass of water at dinner. That felt fine. But as we age, our sense of thirst dulls. By the time we feel thirsty, we're already dehydrated. And for seniors, that can lead to more than just a dry mouth. It can mean headaches, fatigue, confusion, even kidney trouble. After that incident, I started paying attention. Now, I carry a water bottle everywhere. And not just plain water. I slice up a few cucumbers or lemons and toss them in. It's refreshing, a little fancy even, and it encourages me to sip more throughout the day. Sometimes I add mint or orange slices when I want to feel like I'm at a spa. It's amazing how quickly things changed once I made this one small habit part of my daily life. My energy became steadier. I didn't get those nagging little headaches in the afternoon. My skin looked softer and less dry, especially in the winter months. Even my digestion got better, less bloating, less sluggishness. One thing I didn't expect? My mood improved. I felt less irritable, more balanced. Water, it turns out, plays a big role in how our brain functions too. And here's something else I learned. Dehydration is sneaky. It doesn't always show up as thirst. Sometimes it feels like tiredness or trouble focusing or just feeling off. Once you start recognizing the signs, you'll wonder how you ever ignored them. If you're someone who struggles to drink water, you're not alone. Many of us didn't grow up with water bottles glued to our hands. But it's never too late to make a change. Start with something simple. Keep a glass of water by your bed and drink it first thing in the morning before coffee. Carry a small bottle with you when you go out, even short trips. Set little reminders if you need to. Your body will thank you. Trust me. One of my favorite tricks is linking water with routines. I drink water while waiting for the coffee to brew. I sip water while watching the news. I take a few gulps after brushing my teeth. It becomes second nature. And if plain water feels boring, dress it up. Lemon, cucumber, mint, berries. These little additions not only make it taste better, they also make it feel special. Like a treat instead of a chore. I also keep herbal teas around. Caffeine-free options like chamomile or peppermint. They're hydrating too, especially in the evening when cold water feels uninviting. The lesson I've learned is this. Water isn't just something we should drink. It's something our body needs, like oil in a car engine. Without it, everything works harder, slower, and wears out faster. So here's my invitation to you. Take a sip of water right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. Feels good, doesn't it? Hydration is one of the easiest, most powerful things you can do for your health. It doesn't cost much. It doesn't require any fancy equipment. And the benefits show up fast in your skin, your mood, your digestion, even your memory. So if you've ever felt dizzy for no clear reason, or struggled with dry skin, or just felt tired all the time, before assuming the worst, ask yourself, have I had enough water today? It could be that simple. And if you're someone who already carries water like I do, let me know. Do you have a favorite infusion? Lemon, mint, berries? Share your ideas in the comments so we can inspire each other. Because staying hydrated doesn't just help us survive. It helps us thrive with more clarity, more energy, and more joy. Let's raise a glass of water to better days ahead. We've covered 5 simple yet powerful habits. Starting your day with a nourishing breakfast, embracing healthy fats, adding greens to your meals, cutting back on refined sugar, and staying hydrated throughout the day. The truth is, staying youthful isn't about splurging on expensive creams or magic pills. It's about the small, everyday choices that we make. It's about putting the right things into our bodies and honoring ourselves with care. I live for the feeling of being vibrant, confident, and full of love, not to impress anyone else, but because it makes me feel good from the inside out. If this video has inspired you in any way, share it with someone who could use a little boost. And leave a comment. I read every single one. Let's continue this journey together, sharing our experiences and encouraging each other to live healthier, happier lives. Remember, it's never too late to make change. Every little step counts. Keep going and keep shining.